to read, trying to assimilate information that I did not really care about. I did not care about all the internal workings of the human being.
Welcome to the Chiefs Corner, the true zone for creators, rebels, and builders. Some people live a life planned by their parents, others born the script. Today, we are sitting with someone who walked away from nursing, which is the safe path, to chase design as a career. With me here is a brand designer and founder of the Awesome Design Studio. She helps visionary business owners build timeless brands. Once on a path to become a nurse, but chose a passion for design instead. A decision met with family pressure, sleepless nights, and a fierce determination to show that creativity is a true profession. Today, she blends strategy and clarity in her work, showing other creatives that they can build real success in a career they truly want. Please make welcome one of the most beautiful designers I've seen out there, Kenny, the awesome designer. Welcome to the Chiefs Corner. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. The pleasure is really mine.
Bro, that energy is really well. Take us back to the moments where you decided I'm done with nursing, I'm choosing design. At that moment, what was going through your mind?
Okay, so the vision to do this had been there for a while before I had the courage to finally make the move. It started from like when I started to be inspired by creatives online, designers online, the likes of Abby Connick, Christine the Pinkney. I would just look at these people. They're not people that are very, close range to me. They're designers internationally and all that. But when I look at them and their work and the business they built, it inspires me and tells me that I can do it myself. And I was pretty young at this time. Yeah, but I'm like I can grow into this in a couple of years, in a few years' time. I'll be able to do this for myself, right? But the I knew that it would require a lot of work and a lot of effort, a lot of dedication, and every time I will try to put in as much work as I feel like I need to be put in, and just to have the freedom to be creative and to build something. I would be hindered by the fact that I was also a student and I needed to seriously focus on my studies, right? And I wasn't just studying a course that you could, be very chill about, or you don't have to pay so much attention to. I was studying to be a nurse. And again, I have this thing where I like to do everything that I do very, very well. So the need to be perfect, at some point it was perfectionism, but like the need to be the best at everything that I do, it caught up with me in that I wanted to be top of my class as a nursing student, but I also wanted to be the best designer that I could be and achieve the results that at the time I hadn't even seen like designers in Nigeria achieve, that I could only see with like foreign designers, do. So it started to gnaw at my heart that I needed to choose one thing that I could really be excellent at instead of being average at best at one or the other. Because at school there, I barely had time to study. Right, I would be studying. I am the night before tests or the night before exams. I barely attended classes because I'd be in my dorm room just with my laptop, designing away, and with my very poorly functioning laptop, if I may add. So it was pretty difficult. I did not have any kind of support towards my skill and everything. So I knew that if I wanted to do this, it would have to be my decision and it would have to be my sole responsibility. And so I got to a point where I had to decide if I wanted to do what was expected of me, or I wanted to do what would make me feel truly fulfilled, right? I At the time I would have people be like, "Oh, you look like a nurse." When I tell them that I'm studying to be a nurse, you look like a nurse. Oh, you look like it already. I can see you as a nurse, and I'm like, I don't see myself like that, right? The major motivation behind this was that at the time, I think my mom wanted to be a nurse, but she couldn't because of certain circumstances. And my dad wanted one of his kids to be a medical student, preferably a doctor. So I was really doing it to make my parents happy and to make them proud. And I started to really consider if that was what I wanted to make my life about, and to also think about the fact that it's my life and my future, and a huge portion of this future unfortunately, my parents might not even be there. It's my life to live. I have to live with the consequences of my actions. So it brought me to that point where I had to make the very tough decision to choose one or the other.
Actually, you do look like a nurse. Actually.
Thank you.
But then
I take
what?
that as a compliment.
But then what made you decide, like, give you this conviction that nursing was not meant for you?
Well, so as I became an adult and grew into myself, I started to realize that I have a people pleasing mentality. I really wanted validation and approval from people around me, and that was difficult to get, especially because a lot of people they validate you on the things that you're able to do, and so I found myself in a place of constantly trying to do things to receive validation from people, to get people to like me and accept me. And so that I realized that that was how I'd been, growing up, and I got to a point where I decided that is this how I want to continue to live? Do I really like, when you were in secondary school, high school, and when you're getting into senior secondary school and they're asking, do you want to be in science class, art class, or commercial class? There was this test, this aptitude test we had to take where, do you like the sight of blood? I'm like, yeah, I don't mind the sight of blood. But truly, truly, I do realize I might not feel faint at the sight of blood. But honestly, when I'm watching like maybe a movie or a scene that has a lot of like gory things happening, I'll tend to skip. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. So I've chosen a career in the field because I thought of medicine and nursing as a prestige thing, as a people will be so proud of me if I'm a doctor. People will be so proud of me if I'm a nurse, right? At the point, I didn't even like nursing, so I chose nursing because the entrance exams into uni. I think it was the third time I was taking it UTME, and it wasn't because I didn't do well the first two times, but because the threshold for getting into medical courses was way higher, and so I had to take it three times. I could have gone for any other course in that time, but I decided to keep going so I could get medicine or nursing. But by the third time, I was really unsure of my capabilities. I don't want to waste this opportunity again. So people advised me, you look like a nurse, you do great as a nurse. But with the little knowledge that I had at the time, I did not like nursing simply because I thought that nurses were inferior to doctors. I also realized that I don't like taking orders, right? I'm the last one of seven children. I've had my parents, my siblings, all, back orders at me and tell me what to do and tell me how to live all my life. I don't want to be in a career where I have to answer to somebody, which, was pretty proud at the time, but yeah, I did not like nursing, even going into it. People had to convince me, don't worry, when you get in there, you like it. After your first year, you're gonna like it. And my entire first year was, I would say, hell. It was a lot. And it wasn't that the academics was so hard for me to grasp or anything like that. But like the circumstances around studying in Nigeria is pretty difficult. Anybody that has been in Nigeria, a student in a public Nigerian university knows that it is not easy. The conditions are not easy, and also to be trying to do something outside of just being a student. Because I would have roommates that would spend every extra time that they were not using to watch movies or anything to study, and I would spend all my extra time day and night to design, and then be finding little pockets of time here and there to actually try to study. So it wasn't like the best experience for me at all. So I didn't really enjoy it at all, and I just knew. And I when I thought about the idea of continue like that, because nothing is like a 5 year course for the next 4 years after my first year in school, doing that again for the next 4 years with the possibility of a strike happening, because that is almost a constant in this country right now. I dreaded that future. I dreaded what that would look like, right? And so I decided I wasn't going to waste my time and energy to pursue that. The mindset was that then if I spend the next 4 years making universities, nursing my major and design my minor, imagine what it would look like if I made design my major and nothing else, my minor. And so that's just the mindset I had to it.
So based on your story, you say that when you started out your design career, you were mostly inspired by foreign designers. So does that mean that you didn't like actually see any designer from Nigeria that you were inspired to be like?
I would say that in the beginning, no, right? Because and also my access, the access I had wasn't very wild because I did not get in the online space until I was about 16 thereabout because I had to get myself my first phone and get on social media because my parents believed that having a phone would distract me from my studies. And I was like, I feel like I could feel that thing inside me that there was more to me than just putting my head in chemistry textbooks and all that. I wanted to, even at first, it was a desire to like just connect with other people around the world to be able to study better, to be a better student. But as time went by, it was to also make money online and to change the circumstances around my life. But at the time, I really don't know how I got onto like Abiconics, sorry, not TikTok, Abiconics, Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, it was mainly an Instagram and a YouTube account back then, and because I had that kind of foundation, I would, this is how you find people on the internet. Outside of the for you page, you go to a profile of someone that you like. Yeah. You go to people that they follow, people that follow them, and you start to look at what those other people are doing. And so I would find other creators and other designers, and I would like, oh, this person has really cool work, so I follow them. And so that's kind of how I built my For You page. And so the info I had on Nigerian designers was more like designers in my immediate space on WhatsApp. And at the time, it was more like flyer design, church graphic flyer design, graphic design. There weren't a lot of like brand designers. In fact, there would be like logo designers, and I would see like if you know what the primitive like logo design, what primitive logo design looks like within Nigeria, because at the time you would understand like there was a wide gap between what was available there and what I could see in international spaces, and so I just put those in higher regard and like just paid more attention to that. Even as I tried to learn locally, I mean, the first few courses that I still took were from Nigerian designers because yes, I knew that I had to start from somewhere and before I branched to those international spaces.
Yeah, I love what you did there. Like you were inspired by foreign designers. But then when you started out to design journey,
Yeah.
did you like immediately figure out that you wanted to go for brand identity design, or you just started randomly from YouTube or
So, again, because I did not have, I had like more, I was surrounded by more flyer designers. At first, I didn't even know, so much about that brand identity. At the very best, you would hear people talk about logo design, and there was this 3D logo design that was very common back then, where if you do a logo for a client, they might even say, I want it to look like this, right? And so that was more of what I knew, and for a long time because I learned my skill a lot by practice by volunteering for a tutorial educational tutorial company that I and a couple of friends started at the time. So I actually made their logo. Yes, I did. I made their logo. It was just one old logo and that very basic stuff. And I would work on their flyers, and then the church that I served in. Oh, you're on the media team, and they would ask me to do designs and stuff like that. So very early into my career, it was very flyer design based. But as I started to get introduced to the likes of Abikone, I I think at first it was more like brand design paid more because she would talk about like how much she charges and everything like that. So I would assume that brand design paid more. She prices in dollars, yeah. That compared to what you would charge for flyer designs in Naira, I knew that it was a far gap. And if there's anything to achieve, I'm going to achieve it. So that's really, I think it was probably the money that attracted me at first. But honestly, there's a way in which she like talks about creativity and design that really gets you interested, and that really drew me in more. So I got a good designer, a good Nigerian designer, a friend actually that I knew was much better at flyer designs, logo design, brand identity at the time, and to teach me, to personally tutor me on how to use Photoshop and how to use Illustrator and how to do stuff.
so Kenny? let's be real and honest, right? Did you choose design based on your passion or the money?
Um, it has to be about the passion. Yeah, definitely, I was driven by the money, but considering the fact that the money that I was seeing in the international space is not something that could easily be replicated right here in my local, space. It couldn't have been the money because, in fact, in the very beginning, I would stay up late at night borrowing my brother-in-law's laptop to learn Photoshop. It couldn't have been the money because I know when he promised me any money at the time, right? But also, there's this thing. I'm a twin, yeah, and my twin sister actually went to uni to study fine art. My immediate elder sister studied fine art as well. One of my other elder sisters actually, like, they all draw. They could, take a pencil and come up with something beautiful. And the most I did at the time was stick figures. So growing up, I also thought that I was not creative enough, or I didn't have any creative bone in me. Creativity is not just my thing. It was one of the things that pushed me to science class, right? Because I just thought that I wasn't creative. But when I found out that there is more to creativity than just taking up a pencil and drawing, and I realized that there was a way for me to express my creativity, it was like entrance into a whole new world. And I think that everybody is a creative here, but I have specifically that creative gene because my mom, I think I took that, we all took that from my mom. My mom is a creative person. She comes up with ideas, with things to do and things to create, and she just comes up with these amazing things that she does here. And I just thought, oh, I look more like my dad. I took after my dad. He's a very reserved person, just and is a lot creative as well. When I found something where I could pour my creativity into, it was like a means of expression for me, a means to like bring the ideas in my head to life. Yeah, and also further finding out further that I could also use that to help other people, help businesses and help brands. It was really really intriguing for me. So that's what interested me.
So when and how like did you broke the news to your parent that come on, I'm not doing nursing anymore. I choose design. But like when and how did you like broke the news to
That
them? And what like how was the conversation like?
That was the hardest thing. Oh, that remains the hardest thing I have ever done. Right? I have done a lot of hard things, so that is the hardest thing I have ever done. Just putting that out there. And this was how it started. So at the end of my first year, once we were done with exams, I had really been thinking about this, and I told my roommates, guys, I don't think I'm coming back next year. I think I want to leave school. And everybody was like, don't you do it. I told my pastors and my church members. So yeah, I had this epiphany moment in church, vigil one night, where I felt like God was really just leading me to like do this. And so I told my pastors about it, and they were like, nah, that can't be God. God can't tell you to leave school. Everybody that was like an important figure in my life said yeah, no. So I even called professors in school. Is it possible I could change to a less demanding course to be able to have more time to focus on my design career? Because I really think that this is where my future is at. And everybody said no. You're lucky to be a nurse. Yeah. So once we went on holidays and I went back home, I decided to like throw away the idea. Not happening. But while I was at home, I was still, I think it was that season that I worked on my first client brand design, which I charged like 5,000 for, which was a big deal for me at the time, by the way. So, and during that time with my very terrible laptop and terrible life situations in Nigeria, I was working away at my brand design gig, and I also listened to podcasts at the time. And I remember that it was just one fateful day. Everyone was calm, and I was listening to Alex Orosi. There's a particular podcast where he was talking about his neighbor's kid that was considering whether he should go to uni or go learn. I can't remember what the guy wanted to do, whether he should go to uni, go learn a particular skill or start a business or something like that. And Alex was advising this kid, what do you really want to do, and where do you see yourself in the next 4 years? Do you think that if you go to uni or if you go do this, which would make for a better outcome of who you see yourself becoming in that time? And then I think the entire podcast just gave me this. I could just test out this idea with my parents. Like, what do I have to lose? Right? I could just tell them that what a haven't done it yet. What if I miss school? What would you guys say? And let me tell you, I was terrified. Oh my God. If you have an African dad, you know that you need to be terrified. I can't remember if it was the same day I told my mom, because my mom was the safer option to just run the idea by her. But I remember that afternoon, I put down my laptop and I got up and said, my dad was outside, so he was taking fresh air. So I was like, you know what, Dad, I haven't done this thing, but I've really been considering what if, what would you say if I said I wanted to like drop out of school because I wanted to go be a brand designer? Now, my father does not know what a brand designer is. He doesn't know what brand designers do. And I, even at the time, did not understand how to explain that to him that, like, logos and flyers and things like that. Yes. One of my dad's biggest dreams is that all of his kids should, at the very least, have a university degree, a BSc, and maybe like masters and PhD. If you want to make him prouder, but at least you have to have a university degree. So I knew that there was no way my dad was gonna agree to that. In fact, he rang it in our ears. You have to get your degree. You have to get your degree. So I'm like, what would you say? So his response to me was that he didn't really understand what I was talking about, what I said I wanted to do, and that I should go talk to my mom and my sisters, and my graduate sisters, to because he trusts the opinion in graduates, to go ask them what their opinion is, and obviously, hopefully they'll be able to better understand what I wanted to do, and actually
Also advise you that should go back to nursing.
yes, they could also advise me, to go back to school and all. So I should go ask them and get their opinion, and then come back to him with the feedback. Then he let me know. I walked out of his presence in tears, like joyful tears. I'm like, what? I fully expected shouting, screaming, do you know what you're doing? Are you okay? Blah blah blah, things like that. And I got none of that. I got a very calm response. I was so hopeful, like this is possible. Like it looks like I might be able to convince him to let me do this. I was so happy by that. And then I told my mom, and my mom actually was very sad. My mom made me even sadder. Because when I told her, she was like, what do I need? Because I was like, I wish I could try to do both together. She advised me to try to go to school and then work on this thing on the side as well. I was like, I wish I could do this, but I don't have the resources to make me fully able to commit to both of them. I'm having to struggle on both ends here. And she was like, don't worry, how much do you need? I'll try to give you this and I'll try to give you that. I'm like, it's not gonna work. And also, I know that as much as you really want to, you love me and you want to give me what I need, that you really can't give me what I need. Like, this has to be me. It's a decision that I have to take. And so, my mom she was really, really sad about it. My dad, I'm sure, was also very sad about it. But at first, he he gave me a very hopeful response, I would say. And then after I had spoken with my sister about it, who also said maybe at the very least I should transfer to like a less demanding course, and she would also see how she could assist me with any gadgets that I needed for my career or things like that if I would consider that option. Yeah, I didn't do like that. I knew it wasn't going to work, right? So, but I mean, eventually it got to a point where after I had, done all the back and forth, and I said I was gonna move out of my parents' house to go live with one of my sisters because I felt like staying at home was too comfortable. It did not give me the motivation to really, like, I did not have the freedom to really pursue what I wanted to do at home. So I said I wanted to go live with my sister. I remember my dad, as I was going, told me that he wanted to pray for me. So I knelt and my dad prayed for me, and that was the most I could have asked for. My dad actually praying for me on this journey, giving me his blessing and all that was the most I could have asked for, and I'm really, really happy about that. So yeah, that is like the summary. There's a lot of in betweens that happened, but like that's a more harsher reaction was when I actually set out. Like so I told you that all this happened while we were on holiday. And so when school resumed, the general conclusion with my sister was that I would go back to school and defer my admission for a year. In fact, I think I brought the idea of that. Okay, how about I defer my admission for a year, go chase this thing, and after a year, I see how it is. If it's working out, maybe I would have built enough solid foundation for me to do both things together, or I would give up on it and come back to be a nurse and things like that. So I went to school and tried to process my admission and things like that. And there were some requirements that they needed me to do. And then I went back to my family members. Oh, they've asked me to do this and do that. And everybody kind of just didn't pay attention. Like everybody was just not responding. I'm like, yo, I want to do this and I need to do it fast. I need responses and support right now. And everybody was just, I think they didn't think I was that serious about it. And so after I had spent the little money that was on me, I was in school. I was trying to process all the deferment and stuff like that. After I was almost exhausting the little money that was on me. I think it was a Saturday, right? I started to call everybody like, I've thought about this. Nobody's doing anything about this. I am leaving tomorrow. I remember my mom, sobbing on the and he made me. That day I cried a lot. I cried, crew and crew because my sister, you're gonna do this, you're gonna regret this. Blah, blah. I was so sad. I was weeping. But the next day I packed my things and I came to Lagos for me by my yes. I came to Lagos. I came to my sister's house and that's how the journey started.
So much.
Oh my god, it's so good to do back at these times and laugh. A laugh.
So, based on your story, Kenny, for real, that was really emotional, right? But then, I expected your mom to be more understanding because you said that she's more of the creative type, and most of your elder sisters, really the elder sister and elder sister, they carry like sort of a trait which is creative part. So I expected her to be more understanding because she understands about like how like creativity works. And but you from your story now, you see that your dad is one that is more like considering, and like when you told your mom, does it when you told her that you were leaving, and does it, well, like the moment you told her, was it feel like a betrayal or like liberation?
Yeah, it felt like a betrayal because I definitely did not expect the reaction from her. I was really pretty sad about that because a lot of times you would have people be like um you would expect that your parents would support you, and if you have the support of your parents, it would go a long way for you, yeah. And I remember at the time I was thinking back to an experience with my twin sister where you know there was a time when my dad had offered, if you don't want to go to uni and you just want to go learn a skill or something like that, we're really support you on that. But there's this thing that has always been the case with me where it's the thing where the more you do, the more people expect you to do. And so there were expectations of me, right? They thought that, as someone that's been able to go study, medical course, you're the smart one, you're the intelligent one. If there's anybody that shouldn't finish uni or have a degree, it shouldn't be you. So there was greater expectation on me because I hadn't posed as a creative at all before. So it came off as unexpected to them. They definitely did not expect that move from me. And so I understand that now from them. But also at the time it was really difficult because I wish that, what I got from my family was that okay, we know that this is a very difficult decision to make and we are really proud of you for having the courage to take this route, and we're gonna try our possible best to give you everything that you need on this journey. But yeah, for the first few months, it was just crickets, right? But I think that one thing I really love about my mom and even my parents and my family members there, but most especially my mom, is that ever since I went on that journey, she never judged or or pester me about it. Go back to school or do this or hate me for it. We didn't have any disagreement outside of that. Um, oh, I really don't want you to do this, and it's making me sad that you're doing this. Once I took the step and I made the decision, it's just really been prayers and support all the way, right? As much as she could, yeah. I didn't have any like maybe like estrangement, from my parents or anything like that. So I'm really grateful for her. And she's one of the reasons why I do what I do right now. She really believes. She did not stop believing in me. She did not stop thinking that I was a smart, intelligent person. She did not stop believing that I could still win at what I wanted to do. So I really am grateful for that.
Yeah, big shout out to your mom. Big shout out to every mother out there. So what was the darkest moments you ever faced during this part? Like your creative journey?
So, I think I have like two dark phases. But I think that the beginning was the hardest because there were no guarantees. There was no. I was way too far. I mean, I'm not where I want to be now, but I was way too far from where I was then. Like thankfully, I had one of my team leads in church has a design agency offered me a job that I can't even mention how much that job paid me. But honestly, I was grateful for it at the time. But it was so far from where I needed to be. It was so far from the people that I looked up to. Right, I was starting from I think below zero. Yeah, so it was hard because every day I was faced with the reality that I could not do it, but I had to decide to keep going and keep believing that that it would work and I would stay up late. I was everywhere I needed to be. Like I tried to be everywhere. Everywhere something good, there was something to learn. I tried to learn as much as I could. I tried to study businesses, study business owners, successful business owners, people to look up to, Iman Dati, Ali Abdal, Abiconic. I was discovering more designers, and I was just trying. It was a you could not rest. Um, you could not take a break because you have to win, you have to prove, you have to do this. And as much as you try to tell yourself that you have nothing to prove to anyone, I had a lot to prove. There was a lot that was banking on this, and there was that constant. I remember that I could be walking on the street and I would think like like do people all around that are looking at this girl know that she most likely is never gonna get a degree, that she dropped out from uni, that life is probably over. She's probably not gonna end up. She's probably not gonna become anything tangible. There's a possibility that she's making a very terrible mistake right now. And so I thought about that like at least like 30, 50 times every day. So it was a really dark moment that I would cry for days. Everybody around me would be sleeping at night, and I would be up, sobbing in front of my laptop, and then wiping my tears and getting back on my laptop or getting back on my phone, trying to figure stuff out. It was really tough. I think another dark moment was earlier this year when I decided to quit. This December 2024 when I decided to quit my job, and then into earlier this year where I started to really push my brand on social media and things like that. It was really tough moment for me. So I know it probably didn't look like that on social media, but yeah, but that beginning phase really, really, and also because now there's a little bit of like success in the midst, and people, my siblings, some of my siblings that were like, you young people, you just think you know everything. Now they respect me a little bit more because they've seen some of the outcome of what I do. But at that time, I had nothing. I had nothing to show for it, but like I had like childish courage. That's everybody. You're just you're a child. I was like, what, 19 at the time or 18? 18 at the time. So like, you don't know what you're doing, right? It was really difficult. It was.
Was there a time where like you just like say to yourself that come on, my parents are right, I should just go and do this immediately?
Probably like once every day. I would think that, yeah, you definitely made a mistake. Yeah, like sooner or later you're gonna realize that you were and you're gonna I think I often thought about having to go back to uni because I probably would if I could I would go back to the same uni I went to. But like having to go back to uni and having to tell everybody that knows about my story that yeah I'm back to school now. I tried it for a couple months and didn't work out. So yeah, but it's for trying, right? Or something like that, like trying to I had a lot of advisors because one of the mistakes that I made at the time was that I did not keep my decision to myself. I was seeking validation so much. I would ask every single person that I came across, friend and foe, do you think I'm making the right decision? Do you think I should do this? And they would say no. I would have a lot of people tell me that, oh, I graduated 5 years ago, and ever since then I have not used my certificate to do anything. I did not work with in any field related to my degree. I did not use my degree to get a job or start this business that I'm doing. But I think you should get a degree, and I'll be like, what are you saying? Yeah. But so I had I was really scared that I would have to everybody would have to be like, yeah, you thought you could do it, right? You thought you were doing something smart or intelligent, right? Can you see that this is why you need to listen to your elders when they're telling you something? Yeah, it was every day. It was literally every day. But I'm really so grateful for I have I usually have a very close circle of friends. I have like one or two friends per time, but I am so grateful for the gift of good friends. At every point in time, I will have maybe at least one person in my life that I could talk to, and they will be like, "Don't worry, keep going. It will be fine." That believed in me more than I did myself. Right? Yeah, I would say maybe it wasn't all the time, but it wasn't a big supporting group with one friend. And over seasons, it's not like even one friend consistently. Over time, I would maybe go distance with that friend and all that one. I'm so grateful that I would always have another one person that was rooting for me, that was cheering me on. I'm so grateful for this friend that they were the one that was still like, no, it's not over yet. You can't say that, and you not feel this, put in so much work, and you're going to start to see the results soon. And I'm so thankful because shortly after that, everything started to come into place. Okay.
So, is there based on everything you've said so far, you say that during your creative journey, you always seek a kind of validation, like seek validation based on your decision. So was there a point in time that you say like fuck validation, I don't care about what people are saying, I just want to do what I want to do.
I think there wasn't like a specific moment, but I think that mentality started to grow on me a lot this year. I think it stemmed from realizing that there are not many people like me around. And that's not like a prideful thing or a pompous thing to puff my own, it's not like that. But I realized that I finally now learned that a lot of people, when I tell them my ideas or the things that I want to do, it's usually completely different from how they have set up their life or the things that they want to do. I found that a lot of people my age want to go to uni, come out, get a good job. Even while I know a lot of students, Nigerian students, you kind of have to where you're studying and also working a job or learning a skill. And people want to do that. But I find that people that are studying even courses that they know that there's not really a guaranteed future in a country like this, they would still take their education. They will place their education above any other thing because that's what has been true to people. And I realized that I was really surrounded by people who wanted to follow the norm and who wanted to be accepted in the society, who wanted to do what people say is right. And so I started to realize that it's like I have like an audience of one to please. I have only myself to please. I also realized that I didn't do it because design is going to make me so much money and all that. Or I did it because I would not feel peace in myself, within myself, if I did not do this thing. And I realized that there are certain things that I want to do that if I haven't done that thing, I will not feel peace within myself. So it's the same thing that happened when I decided to quit my job with no backup plans and things like that. And that time, December 2024, you know what I did differently? I told no one except this one friend that I knew would understand what I was doing. I did not tell my parents or my mom. I did not tell my mom. I did not tell my siblings. I did not tell my sisters. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell about social media. I just quit my job and kept pretending like I had a job. Right? I think I told my sister that I live with that. Yeah, I work with. So yes, I did work remotely. I was working on branding projects on my laptop. I was creating content. I was showing up on social media, but I did not have a job. I did not tell them until about March this year, and that was because I desperately needed help. I got to the point where everything was falling apart, and I needed help from my siblings. And telling one of them still did not guarantee me that help. What I got was, oh, you young people, you think that you're so smart. Look at it. You think that there are no consequences for your actions and things like that. I'm like, you know what? This is why I never told you in the first place, right? I'm thankful for my other sister who actually assisted in the which way that she could, right? But yeah, it was it was the right test to see that yeah, these people would not necessarily get it. And so that experience literally just told me that yeah, right now I still tell there's sometimes that I still tell people some plans, some crazy things I want to do, and I listen to their feedback. But now people have gotten to the point where they realize that Kenny will do what she wants to do regardless. I say it to my friends, I say it all the time now that my family members they've now got they just let me do my thing because after that leaving school thing, people have just now realized that yes, it's Kenny's line and she's gonna do what she wants. Like we the best we could do is advise her. And I do listen to people's advice. I take what I can out of it, but I will not just do exactly what someone tells me to do. I think I have a gene that is very against doing exactly what someone else tells me to. If you want me to do something, maybe try to get me to think it was my own idea. Do not tell me what to do. I won't do it.
Yeah, that's how the gracious one.
Mhm.
So how do you feel when you like share your success story to other people? How does it make you feel?
Is there a success story yet? I mean, there is some success story yet. So I'm definitely I'm not where I want to be yet, but I've I've been in positions where I I've had to encourage other people, someone else, that look, it might not look like what you need it to look like right now, but yo, I've been there. I've been there, and it's only a matter of time if you don't give up. And I think that's the most rewarding part for me to be able to say from experience that keep going, it will work out. Like I'm not just saying this because I read it in a book or an influencer told me or someone told me on social media to tell you that if you keep going, it's going to work out. I am telling you because I have lived it myself that you should keep going and it will work out. And that really I find fulfillment a lot in that. That because it's usually more convincing to people when they hear you say that and they see that you're actually living maybe some version of the life that they want. You've attained that, and you're telling them that you also can do it if you keep going. I really just like that for me. I like that for the people that I get to encourage and things like that. I get I think the part I like the most about my in upcoming success or my success generally is that someone else can be encouraged to like from what I say, from what I tell them, they can see my life and be like, you know what, if this person can do it, I can do it as well. Which is what the people that I look up to, what they do for me as well. I look at them, I really love that I've been able to follow Abikoni from kind of when she started to, I've been following her ever since. And I could say that like she started from here and now she's all the way here. And if Abby can do it, I do not care the circumstances of that surround me, the country that I live in, the local community that I have access to, the gadgets, the resources that I have. I do not care any other external thing. So long as I see that someone else can do it, I can do it as well. So that's really what I love to do for other people. Encourage them genuinely from a place of experience.
Yeah, I love that. That's the art of not giving a fuck. But yeah, I really love that energy. Don't give a fuck.
Yeah, actually, because and then I've had the validation thing has also reduced because a lot of time when I now have I get a lot of unsolicited advice a lot and I really don't know why people do this. And it's not I don't mean it to be in like a pride thing or to be proud or anything. But people really just like to give you advice. They like to advise you, especially older people. And I'm like this thing that resonates with me so well is that if someone is not where you want to be, don't listen to. Do you want to be like them? If you don't want to be like them, don't listen to them, right? And I know that like this can really piss some people off, and I try to like be understanding in that there are aspects of people's lives that I might want, but I might not want their entire life. So if you advise me on an aspect of life that I see in you that I don't want, yeah, it's going out the other ear. I'm gonna listen to you and nod my head and really, in fact, I would agree with you. Like, yeah, you're right. But yes, I turn back and I go do what I think is right? But I could also admire some other things in you that I will take up, right? I really just try to see the best in people and take the best from them. Now, I do not take the entire thing that people say to heart again. And it has really helped with my mental health because I'm not then thinking, but this person said this. What if this person is right now? What if that person? It can't be right because they know where I want to be on. They don't have the fraction of what I want. They don't have that aspect. They're not they're not interested in that side of what I want. So it's fine. It's fine for them to like advise me based on what they believe, their own lived experiences, but I don't have to take that. I don't have to run my life like that. So, so
So you know that I've been um one of those people that like actually believe in success story and like a cheerleader.
if you say so.
But then based on like on your journey, your creative journey, does it mean that you're a rebel?
I think maybe is what I would be. Yeah. So I think yeah, definitely I have rebelled, but I would say that I'm not like I'm not I don't do outbursts. Even though I used to do that. I used to be very I need you to get me. I need you to understand what I'm trying to say. Like I need to get my opinion out. I need you to hear me and listen to me. But now I'm really just very soft and like we could be having that conversation where before I would be arguing back with you as you say, no, this is what you need to do and this is how you need to think and this is how you and I will be like, no, but like you need to understand from my own perspective and you need to see it like this. No, now I don't do that anymore. I don't get aggressive about it. I just hmm, wow, really? I really should do that. And then once you're gone, I go on to do what I want. There's no point arguing with anybody. There's no point proving a point to anybody. There's no point trying to get them to think that you're smart. If they don't see that you're smart or your perspective is right or is what is best for you, you don't have to convince anybody. Just go do your thing. So I'm just more of a maverick now. I don't force my opinion on anybody. I just do my own thing, and it's why I wouldn't tell anybody like quit school. Don't quit school. If you don't want to quit school, don't quit it. Because after I would say half the thing that helped me is or that helps me is that I wanted to do it. I wasn't doing it because Abiconic said quit uni. I wasn't doing it because anybody said this uni is not going to help you. That was my decision. So if your decision is to be a student and also build on your skill or build a business while you're doing it, then you can do it. I had a lot of people try to convince me that I can do both. And I'm like, I know myself. It's me that I'm talking about. I know me. You don't know me more than I know myself. And I know that this is how I want to do it. Whether I could do it or not, this is how I want to do it. So let me do it how I want to do it. And if for you, what you think is best for you is to do both, and you know that you have the capability to do both, or you are willing to take the time to do both, then good for you. Do it how you want. I think that what I most preach is that look within yourself and do what would make you sleep better at night. Like I could cry myself to sleep and wake up energized and ready to do that thing that made me cry because I want to do it because I believe in that thing. But if I am crying myself to sleep because I am going to a job that is draining my life and it's not contributing to my goals and my vision and my purpose, The next morning when I wake up, I would feel devastated still, and I would not want to go to that job. And so that's the difference for me. Do you want to do it? If you want to do it, you go ahead. Do not do it because someone else is forcing you to do it. Do not do it because someone else thinks that's the right thing. And there's this uncertainty that comes when you're young, and they're like, what? But like, there are other people that have lived life, they've lived through life longer, and they know better. And I know that other people try to preach this thing, but like, their time is not our time. And there's another thing that people try to make, that people try to use to like get you scared, is that consequences. The idea of consequences, like, you're gonna face the consequences of your actions. Honestly, I think that if it's not gonna kill me, if it's not gonna ruin someone else's life, I don't care what it is. I'll face it. Like, you will come out on the other end. Like, you would go through that bad moment. I quit my job and I was hungry for a bit. But yeah, I got out of that. I faced the consequences, and I'm on the other side. I quit uni, and I had people, talk about me and say that, it wasn't the best decision, and I was scared, and I would cry, and I had to work really hard. Yeah, it's doable. And now I'm on the other side. If let's say I got pregnant today, and I'm like, oh my God, life is over. Guess what? People raise their kids out of wedlock. Like, face it. Face it. If you lose your job today, or you chase a career and it doesn't work out the way you expect it to, guess what? If you keep going, there's a good thing around the corner. Let me tell you, and like, doing what people tell you to do doesn't guarantee you success. It doesn't guarantee you success. It doesn't mean that you will not also face consequences. I knew that if I stayed in school, there would be consequences to that, and I would have to face it. So I had to choose the consequence that I could face. I would rather be like this, be going through a tough time trying to build my business or build my skill, and with the hope that what, this is gonna work out someday. It's gonna. I can't wait for when this happens, or I can't wait for when that happens. But in a career where I have no dreams in that career, I have no interest. I would see my colleagues back in school be excited. So we're gonna be going to the hospital. We're gonna be treating patients. We're gonna be learning about this, and we're gonna be operating. I don't know, other things to be excited about as a medical student. And I just saw that as more work and more chores and more stress. I remember when we were resuming 200, and when I went back to school to try to defray my admission, and we had to buy our scrubs. It was when we were getting our scrubs. I have my nursing tag that they had given me. It's somewhere in my house now. Like, I did not get the excitement that other got from that. And so if I continue to pursue that career, I would have to face the consequence every day, putting my nose in books that I do not want to read, trying to assimilate information that I did not really care about. I did not care about, all the internal workings of the human being. It's important. It saves lives, but I don't think that is how I choose to save life. I think that every career is important, right? Every job is important. Some may be more important than others, but there are other ways where I would be more useful. Essentially, or even if I would be more useful as a nurse, I don't want to be a nurse. It's as simple as that. I don't want to do this, and so I don't have to do it, right? Only when you're a child that you're forced to do things you want to do. Once you start to become an adult, you have to take responsibility for your own life. So, yeah, there are consequences everywhere. Choose your consequence.
So now, Kenny, looking at your success story, your creative journey, does it mean that design actually gave you this clarity you deserve?
Yeah, it did. It not only gave me clarity, because yeah, in the beginning, a lot of things were uncertain and unclear, but it gave me a sense of purpose. It gave me a feeling that I was working towards something, right? Um, yeah, I think that's the most that I got from that decision, from this journey, a sense of purpose, and that every time I would achieve something, I already had something else to look forward to, because it was really a career that I wanted. Unlike living a life where people have set the milestones for you. So after 100 level, you have to go to 200. And I am not against university education. If I get to a point in life where I do think that this is really important to my career, to my success as a designer, I would go for it, right? I'm not against university education. Please don't get me wrong, but that people would set the milestones for you. It's also the same reason why I don't really like um you know a 9 to 5 work system where someone tells you when you have to get to work and when you can't leave, and what the determination of your work is, your KPI, this or that, what determines if you're good enough or you're not good enough. People are setting the conditions for your life, for your growth, and things like that. And I really do not like that. Like I said, I don't like when people tell me what to do. So, choosing this career and business helps me to be in control of my life. To If I decide to sleep in today and not do anything, I'm contributing to it. Like that's the contribution I'm making to my life, and I will get the results of that if I decide to not do anything for a week or a month or for months. I have been through such phases to understand that whatever I do today is pouring back into my tomorrow. So if I decide to be advocating or do this thing or learn this thing today, it's for my future, and if I don't, it's for my future. But to be forced to do it by circumstances, I don't like that. I don't like to be forced at all. So you gave me the freedom to choose, essentially, which I think that everybody should have. The freedom to choose to do what you want.
So was there a time you felt this pressure related to the industry?
Of course, yeah. And the pressure is good.
Like pressure, like you're not doing enough, like
A lot of all the time. I still feel it till now. But the pressure is good because the pressure pushes me to be better. But it's also in that nobody is coming to hammer into your head. You're not good enough, or you have to come up with this, or you have to do that. Ain't nobody doing that. I'm choosing. I'm choosing to accept that pressure. I choose. I can choose to watch a video where someone is like, you have to post content 7 days a week, and immediately swipe out of that app and not pay any money. Again, I have a choice. But if I'm in uni and my lecturer gives me an assignment and I choose not to do it, my grades will suffer. So essentially, yeah, there's the pressure, but the pressure is in a way that it pushes me to become a better version of myself, a better designer, a better business owner, a better creative, a better content creator. And so, because I want to be better at all those things, I accept the pressure. In the beginning, I used to be really, really terrified of it. I would really have mental problems. I would really be mental about the fact that, oh my god, I'm not doing enough, crying, I'm not good enough, I'm good for nothing, blah blah blah. Would I ever be this good? And things like that. Until I realized that that pressure doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be so negative. I don't have to take it so negatively. I could always see it as um something to make me improve, something to get me to improve. There's sometimes where maybe you attain some success and you want to you relax a bit too much, right? And now you're finding it difficult to get in the grind again and all that, and then you see somebody achieving this, and you're like, oh my god, I really would like this to be me as well. So now you gotta sit up again. So now, instead, a lot of times when things happen, I don't cry as much again. I just now okay, I need to do better. There's more to do, so I go on to do what more there is to do.
Kenny, I like that. That answer is really raw, and I absolutely like it. Not everyone will understand when you walk away from that dream to build yours. But you know that that's the cost of clarity. So you have to pay the price, like our guest said. You have to face the consequences, choose the right paths that you know that okay, this is what I want, and you have to face the consequences and the cost of clarity. So big thanks to Soft Studio for making this episode possible. We really love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't just watch, be a part of our journey. So hit the subscribe button and see you in our next video.